The man standing in line for a janitor's job looked no different from anyone else waiting outside the towering glass headquarters of Ashcroft Dynamics. His work boots were worn smooth, his shirt had been carefully ironed despite its faded fabric, and his lunch was packed in a small paper bag. No one noticed him until the Billionaire CEO walked through the lobby, glanced at the list of applicants, suddenly stopped in his tracks, and whispered a single name that made everyone in the room fall silent. The CEO's expression changed from routine professionalism to stunned disbelief, because the man applying to sweep floors carried a name he had spent 20 years trying to find. His name was Tavian Mercer, a devoted single father who had spent the last 8 years raising his 10-year-old daughter, Naira, after losing his wife to a sudden illness. Every sunrise brought another challenge. Tavian worked temporary jobs wherever he could find them, unloading delivery trucks, repairing fences, cleaning warehouses, and helping neighbors with odd jobs. Despite working tirelessly, steady employment always seemed just beyond his reach. Every paycheck disappeared into rent, groceries, school supplies, and making sure Naira never felt the weight of their struggles more than necessary. She believed her father could fix anything, and Tavian did everything in his power to keep that belief alive. When he heard Ashcroft Dynamics was hiring maintenance staff, he didn't hesitate. The company offered stable hours, health insurance, and enough income to finally give Naira the security she deserved. He polished his shoes the night before, carefully folded his only dress shirt, and reminded himself that honest work carried dignity no matter the title. Inside the company's bright lobby, applicants nervously filled out paperwork while employees hurried past carrying tablets and coffee cups. Tavian quietly completed every form, answering each question honestly. Under previous employment, he listed dozens of temporary positions. Under education, he simply wrote that life had become his greatest teacher after circumstances forced him to leave college years earlier. Across the building, Billionaire CEO Kalen Ashcroft was preparing for another day of meetings, acquisitions, and presentations. Although admired for his remarkable business success, few people knew he carried a quiet regret that wealth could never erase. Long before building one of the country's most respected technology companies, Kalen had been a struggling university student whose dreams nearly ended because he couldn't afford tuition. During those difficult years, someone had anonymously paid for an entire semester that allowed him to remain enrolled. The donor had requested complete privacy, leaving only a handwritten note saying, "Success means little unless you lift someone else along the way." For 2 decades, Kalen searched for the mysterious benefactor whose generosity transformed his future. The scholarship records had been incomplete, and every trail eventually disappeared. That ordinary morning, while reviewing new employee applications before a community hiring initiative, his eyes settled on one familiar surname. Mercer. Something stirred in his memory. Curious, he opened the file and found an old emergency contact listed from years ago. It matched a faded scholarship document he had kept locked inside his office safe all these years. Unable to ignore the feeling, Kalen walked downstairs himself. Tavian looked up as the well-dressed executive approached. Other applicants assumed someone had made a mistake. Instead, the CEO quietly asked whether Tavian's late father had been named Ellison Mercer. Tavian nodded with surprise. His father had passed away several years earlier after living a humble life as a school custodian. Ellison rarely spoke about helping others because he believed kindness should never seek applause. Tavian explained that his father often sacrificed family savings to help struggling students, insisting that education created opportunities no one could steal. Kalen's eyes filled with emotion. He finally understood. Ellison Mercer had been the anonymous man who changed his entire future. The lobby fell silent as the billionaire extended his hand to the janitor applicant. Instead of discussing cleaning duties, Kalen invited Tavian upstairs for a private conversation. Tavian felt completely out of place inside the elegant executive office overlooking the city skyline. He expected to be told there had been a paperwork error. Instead, Kalen showed him the faded handwritten note preserved behind glass. Tavian immediately recognized his father's careful handwriting. For a long moment neither man spoke. Kalen explained that every opportunity he enjoyed had grown from that single act of generosity. Without Ellison Mercer, Ashcroft Dynamics might never have existed. He had searched for the family for years, hoping simply to say thank you. Tavian smiled gently and admitted his father would have laughed at all the attention. Ellison believed gratitude was best expressed by helping someone else rather than praising the original kindness. Those words reminded Kalen exactly why Ellison had inspired him. Still, Tavian insisted he wanted no special treatment. He had come seeking honest employment and wished to earn every paycheck through hard work. His daughter deserved to see that dignity came from effort, not favors. That answer impressed Kalen even more. Instead of offering charity, the CEO proposed something unexpected. Tavian would begin exactly where he had applied, working with the maintenance team. But the company would also pay for leadership training, continuing education, and professional development if he wished to pursue greater opportunities in the future. Advancement would depend entirely on merit. Tavian accepted with grateful humility. Weeks passed, and employees quickly noticed that Tavian approached every task with remarkable care. Whether polishing hallways, repairing equipment, or helping co-workers solve unexpected problems, he treated every responsibility with pride. His positive attitude gradually changed the atmosphere around him. People who once rushed past maintenance staff now stopped to offer greetings and appreciation. Naira watched her father leave each morning with renewed confidence. For the first time in years, overdue bills disappeared from the kitchen table. She joined her school's science club, knowing the participation fee no longer threatened the family budget. More importantly, she saw hope return to her father's eyes. Months later, during the company's annual celebration honoring employees, Kalen invited Tavian onto the stage before hundreds of workers. Rather than announcing a promotion immediately, he shared the story of an anonymous custodian who quietly invested in a struggling student decades earlier. He explained how one unseen act of kindness had grown into thousands of jobs, scholarships, charitable projects, and opportunities benefiting countless families. The audience rose in a standing ovation, not for wealth or success, but for the invisible goodness that had started it all. Soon afterward, Tavian accepted a new role overseeing community outreach and facility operations, helping create employment programs for parents rebuilding their lives after hardship. Every initiative carried the same spirit his father had lived by, lifting others without expecting recognition. Special request: if this story touched your heart, comment below with, "Kindness always comes home." If this story inspired you or reminded you of the power of kindness, please like, share, and subscribe to Heartwarming Tales so more people can discover stories that bring hope and encouragement. As the sun shone through the company's glass windows one peaceful afternoon, Tavian looked at a framed photograph of Naira smiling beside her school science project and realized that true wealth had never been measured by bank accounts or job titles. It lived inside ordinary people who chose compassion over recognition, generosity over applause, and hope over despair. His father's quiet sacrifice had echoed across decades, changing lives he would never meet. The greatest legacy we leave behind is not what we keep for ourselves, but the opportunities we create for others. One simple act of kindness can travel farther than anyone imagines, returning when it is needed most and proving that every good deed has the power to transform generations.